For this video, we are going to talk about the median, the mean, the median, and the mode of the Rahi stress scores. So this column, find your column that has the Rahi stress scores in them. This is the one we're going to be working with today to find out what is the average stress score of the student population, what is the middle point of the stress scores, and what is the most frequently reported stress score for social work students. So I want you to scroll down under in the column of the res average, the resiliency average, go down, and below that we want to type in mean, median, and mode. So I had already created bold in these columns, but if yours are not bold, highlight them and click on the bold so that you can see that these are titles of formulas that we have figured out. These are not the individual data points that we're working with. These are actual answers to what we have learned from the data points. In the mean column, or in the cell next to mean, you want to type equals, and then start typing average, just like we did with the resiliency scale. We're going to find the average score. You hit the tab, average pops up. After you can then highlight these and hit enter. Median equals, start typing in median. When you see the little blue popping up median, you can hit the tab button or you can double click on median. Either one. And highlight the numbers again to find the middle score. And hit enter. And the same with mode, you want to type equals, mode. We want the single mode, so click on single mode, then hit tab, and grab the numbers again, and hit enter. Now we can look at the scores and say that the average score is 282. Your guys' data numbers are going to be different than mine, but just look at the numbers and you can get an idea of what is the average stress score. What is the middle point? So my mean and my median are fairly close. They're by just 10 points or so. But 282 and 278. And then the mode, the most frequently reported number of stress in this cohort was 250. Then you might ask yourself, so what categories? You have the low stress, medium stress, and high stress. What categories do my data points fall in? So let's add these up here. We want to know 11 to 150, that's low stress. We have 151 to 299. We have 300 to 600. So let's see how many people end up in which category. I'm going to highlight these and bold them again so we can see that these are the categories and formulas. So these are the kind of like the answers to what we're looking at. So we can go up here and we can find all the 11s and 11 to 115. We can count them by hand, but we don't want to do that. Excel does a beautiful job of fixing this for us. So here I want you to type in equals and then start typing count if. Count. You'll see it here when I did count. It's right here, count if. Hit the tab. Now, you look at the little drop-down menu here. It says count if, and then it has the bold range. So we want to highlight the range we want to count. So we are looking at these numbers right now because we want to know the categories. The range would be this range of numbers. And then there's a comma, so it's telling you to put a comma behind your range, and then it wants the criteria. So we want to find 11 to 150. That's our criteria. We want Excel to find all the numbers up here that have 11 to, or all the cells that have 11 to 150 in them. So you want to put a quotation mark, and then you type in 11 to 150, end quotation mark, then you can hit enter. And you can see it counted 6. Let's double check on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm missing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. It's pretty nice how it does that for you. So let's do it the middle scale. This equals, count if again, count if, tab, highlight the range, hit enter. Oops, nope. Almost did it wrong. The range, comma, then the criteria. Remember, you have to do the quotation mark, 151 to 299, end quotation mark, enter. We have 9 people in that middle category. Now let's see how many we have in this one. Equals, count if. Count if is now in blue. I can tab. When we get the range, comma, and then the criteria, quotation mark, 300 to 600, end quotation mark, and enter. So there you have the high range or the low range. The six students end up in the low range. You have 9 students in the middle range, and you have 16 students in the higher range of stress scores. So that'll tell you a little bit about where the stress is. The mean, the median, and mode just tells you the scores, the average of the scores, the middle score, and the most frequently reported score. Here we can find out how many people have low stress, how many people have medium stress, and how many people have high stress. And sometimes you look at here and you go, wait a minute, there are people who have higher than 600 in this class. I don't believe we did, but once in a while you'll have a category. Oh, right there. There's one that has 600 plus. So we would like to then find out, add that category to 600 plus. When you have outliers like this, you want to go back to your scale and see, is this a possibility that they have higher? Is it possible to get 703 points? And if you go back to the Rahi stress scale and you mark yes on all of them, you'll end up with 1,400 and some points. So you find out, yes, it is possible. This poor individual is really struggling. I added the 600 plus category here already. I don't think there's anybody else, but go through your numbers to see if there's anybody with a 600 or higher, and then go in and change this, because it'll probably show up in a 300 to 600 category on yours. So just go ahead and change this from a 300 to 600 and say 601 plus. Let me go that 601. Actually, I'm going to leave it at 600 plus, and I'm going to change the one on top. 600 plus. So we'll do the COUNTIF, even though we know it's just one person, equals COUNTIF, tab, the range. And you guys might have more than one person with a higher score. Okay, so you got the range, comma, the criteria. Remember that has to be in quotation marks. 600 plus, and quotation marks, enter. We have one person that is really struggling. But now this, you can go back and you can look at your data, and it gives you an idea of what these numbers do. It's more meaningful. If you report this in a research paper, you can say that the average social work student has 282 points. But you look at the dispersion of this here, you have a lot of people who have really, really high stress scores. Which they are, most of the students in the class are in the higher range of stress, and one person, an outlier, is extremely high in stress. That's just one way of doing the mean, median, and mode, and that you can show what it gives us for an average, a median, and a mode for one of the scales that you might be using. That is it for this time. Good luck.